Have you ever noticed that life keeps bringing you back to the same crossroads? That's exactly what eclipses do. Last night we have a solar eclipse in Virgo, and I don't know you, but I have a really intense weekend, and that's why I'm recording this video, hoping that this is useful for you to look for those key elements in your own life. The eclipses always come in pairs of opposite signs, and every 9 years the nodes return to the same axis in your birth chart. That means that every 9 years the same story is triggered again. But here's the key: it's not the same event. It's the same lesson showing up in different ways. There is a lesson behind each eclipse season. Eclipse seasons tell us a story, and that story is unfold every 9 years. It's like life gives us a lot of opportunities. So if in one eclipse season I was not able to understand the message, raise awareness of the cycle I'm repeating in my life, don't worry, because in 9 years I will have a new opportunity. So how do you uncover the pattern? And this is what I want to share with you, because this eclipse season is like turning all my life around. At the beginning of the month I was taking some decisions, and now I'm taking a completely different path. And that's what eclipses do. When we are not aligned, they just break things, they just bring information, they bring discomfort, and that's the opportunity we have to stop and observe in order to be realigned. And this is what I want to share with you, the process I use in order to arrive to this message and be able to understand the learning behind it and take another decisions. Yeah? The first step is start with the discomfort. When eclipse season arrives, notice what feels like heavy in your body. Don't rush, just observe. In my case, I started feeling the last week that I was like with a stomachache, a lot of stomachache. Either I ate or I didn't eat. I was feeling stomachache all the time. That is a discomfort I had to pay attention to. So I stop and I observe. The second step is ask yourself questions. I start asking my body, I scan my body and I ask my stomach, what's bothering you? Where is that heaviness comes from? What am I resisting? Maybe life is taking me to one path and I want to go to the opposite, or maybe I want just to stay here and I don't want to move. What am I resisting? What feels like a lie to me? What I observe outside, yes? I started noticing that some people were like lying to me. What is going on? I ask myself questions like, what does have to do with myself? So get curious, start asking questions, listen to your body, scan, stop, observe. That way you are going to be like more open to see those signals. And what leads me to the third step, that is wait for the signal. During an eclipse season, I don't rush. My mind wants to rush all the time, like taking decisions right now, but I know that it's not clear, the picture is not clear enough, so I try to remind myself that it's not a time to rush and I need to observe. So I just observe what's going on around me, what's going on inside me. I meditate every day in order to get the signals. It might come as a memory, as a sensation, a dream, a sudden thought. The unconscious always reveals itself if we give a space to that. So for example, I started feeling a lot of discomfort last Wednesday. A lot of stomach ache. I stopped and I said, I'm going to pay attention. I asked my body. I started meditating more. On Friday, I had a aha moment. And I said, whoa. On Saturday, I was completely uncomfortable. I took my things and I said, I need fresh air. So I went to the beach. I did something I know I really like. I walked along the beach. I stopped to drink a lemonade, a coconut. And while I was there sitting, doing nothing in front of the sea, a memory arrived. And I said, oh my God. And when I started counting, I said, that memory, that experience happened 9 years ago. And it's not just because the unconscious always brings the information that we need at that time. So we have to pay attention. So from Saturday, my job started being like looking back. And that's the fourth stage. Look back at past cycles. And this is what I do all the time when we have eclipse seasons. I look back at past cycles. What was happening in my life at the same time the axis was triggered. That same axis was triggered. What I was doing, where I was. Yes? The first thing you need to know is where the eclipses fall in your chart, because depending on where they are, it's the area of your life that is going to be triggered. So first of all, if you're interested in doing all this process, I recommend you to pay attention where the eclipses are happening, in which area of your life, so that you can look for the specific information. Once I have the houses, yes, the areas of my life, I start going back 9 years. From today, 9 years, what was happening, what I was doing, what I was living, what I was working on. I start observing the key elements. And in order to observe the key elements, first I need to do this process of self-inquiry at the beginning. What is bothering me? What's happening that is creating the discomfort right now? So I pick key elements, and with those key elements, I'll go back in time. Okay, let's see if 9 years ago, when we have similar eclipses like today, those key elements are also present in my life. And guess what? They were. So I didn't stop there. I went back 18 years. And I observe. And let's see if the key elements are also present 18 years ago. And guess what? They were present. And I did the same 9 more years. I was a teenager, but guess what? Those same key elements were also present. So the eclipses always tell us a story. They send us like hinges of our future, like road paths that are open. But the things that we don't listen, we cannot follow those paths, yes? That's why every 9 years we always have a new opportunity. Just observe this. Do you have similar lessons? Do you have similar themes? What is repeating in your life in those key times? I will share with you at the end of the video the exact times we had this kind of eclipses so that you can search it in your life. The next step is recognize the pattern. How do I recognize the pattern? I observe what decisions I took at that time and what results I got. Because if I take one decision and I get this result, I already know. Yes? And guess what? What I discovered is that I have been taking the same decision and getting the same results. And that's, of course, true, because if you always do the same thing, we're going to get the same result. If you want different results, we have to do things differently. So ask yourself, once you see this, what I did at that time and what I received, what was the outcome? And there you will have a pattern. And the last step is choose differently. Why is this so amazing for me? Because it gives you like an idea of where I will be going if I take this decision, because I already have a previous experience that confirms that. Yeah, it's like, it's not prediction, it's being able to take decisions with more consciousness. Yes, it's like more informed decisions. If I see the data and I see that it's repeating and now I have the same situation, I can choose differently. If, of course, I want something different. If you want to repeat the same story and remain in the loop, you can take the same decision. Yes. In my case, I don't want to be in that loop forever. Yes, I saw that for the last 18 years, I've been in the same loop and I don't want to repeat it. So even though the decisions I need to take are uncomfortable, I know that that's the way. Because where we have discomfort, we have growth. If we stay in the familiar, in the comfort zone, I already know what's going to happen. I have the previous experiences. So that's how eclipses become teachers. Not by predicting your fate, but by showing you the story you have been repeating until you choose to write a different ending. It's like reverse engineering your own story. You trace the steps back through past eclipse cycles. You see the patterns. And then consciously you decide to change the script. If you don't, the same lesson just keep coming back and again until you do. So to finish this video, I want to share with you the exact dates, well, the ones I observe in my life, for you to observe those cycles in your own story and look for these key elements, these patterns I mentioned, and try to find out what's the message behind this energy and what decisions you can take today that are going to change your outcome. So here I have them. This eclipse cycle started in January 2025 and it will go until July 2026. The previous one was from November 2015 to May 2017. The previous cycle was from June 2006 to January 2008. And the previous one was from February 1997 to October 1998. So I hope this is useful, and if you find some repetitive pattern, story that is repeating itself, I would love to get to know your story, because I'm amazed with these synchronicities. Astrology is so useful. Let me remind you, it's information, but that information is so useful that we can use it in our advantage. So I hope this is also useful for you.